Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be going over cross-sell flows specifically for e-commerce brands, and I'm going to be going over what exactly cross-sell flows are, why they're so effective, and also how to set them up on Klaviyo, meaning, how to set up the right trigger filters on Klaviyo, on the flow itself, how to set up flow filters, and how to just make sure that people are receiving the right emails at the right time with the right complementary products for your brand specifically. So stay tuned, and in this video, I'm gonna be going over everything related to cross-sell flows. So the first thing to cover is what exactly is a cross-sell. Essentially, how we wanna kind of think about it is, let's say we have one main hero product and we'll just call this product A for now. So let's say that's your best seller on your website, but then you also have some supplementary or complementary products. We'll call that product B, and maybe even product C as well. Maybe you guys have multiple products that might be like a great purchase alongside product A. So really the goal of the cross-sell is when someone purchases product A, we want to get them to also purchase product B and product C as well. Kind of thinking about like a similar example of this in like a real life scenario is like if you guys go to McDonald's and you guys order like a cheeseburger, one thing that they'll always ask you is, do you want fries with that order? And so in a way, that's kind of more of like a cross sell as well, because they want you to purchase an additional item alongside the main item that you ordered. And this is really beneficial because it's going to increase the average order value, without doing anything differently besides for just asking if you want this additional product added to your order. Now, in this specific case with the cross-sell flow, specifically for e-commerce brands, if someone buys just product A and we want them to get product B and product C, one thing that we can do is we can set up like a cross-sell flow that gets sent maybe 2 to 3 weeks after someone purchases the first item, and then kind of introduce them to product B and product C. Maybe explain why they should also be purchasing these items and why it would be beneficial to have these items alongside product A. This is really, really helpful for brands that have products that are kind of similarly related to each other, or maybe they complement each other really, really well. So that's exactly what we want to kind of think about when we're setting up these cross-sell flows. So in the next kind of section of this video, I want to be taking you over kind of a live example of a cross-sell flow that we recently completed for a client. And like I said, I'll be walking you through exactly kind of the logic behind that flow, what's triggering the flow, what are the trigger filters, and how to exactly set that up specifically for your brand. If you do have items that are complementary to each other and you want customers to purchase not just product A, but also, like I said, product B and product C. So I'll dive into that in the next section here. All right, so I'm live right now in the Klaviyo account for one of the clients that we're managing. This is a Dutch supplement company, so as you can see with the language here, it's all in Dutch, and we just went ahead and translated everything to Dutch. So that's why you see that there. But really, the purpose of this example is to just show you, what this cross-sell flow looks like and exactly how we set this up. So essentially, what you want to do is you want to go to in Klaviyo's dashboard, you want to go to create a new segment. And you want to trigger that segment off of a specific metric. In this case, we want to trigger it off of the place order metric because we want to send these cross-sell emails X amount of days after someone places an order. So once you set this segment up, this is what the trigger will look like. So when someone placed order, and as you can see, this brand specifically is using WooCommerce, not Shopify, but the metrics are pretty much more or less the same. It's going to be, either called place order. It's just going to be called place order for both of those. So you want to set up the trigger filter and the flow filter. Really, the difference between the trigger filter and the flow filter is a trigger filter would only be the trigger filter would be sort of kind of variables that you would set on the actual metric level. So for example, if you would only want certain place order events to trigger this flow, then you would add that trigger flow there. So for example, for this specific trigger of place order, maybe we want to trigger the place order when someone places an order for a specific item. In this example, you can see these are the different sort of triggers that we can select here under the place order metric. So attributed flow, attributed message, coupons, email domain, is discounted, item categories, item names, product names, shipping methods, used coupon, and then $value. In most cases, what you're going to be using is either the collection name or the item name or the product name. So in this specific example, we're going to be triggering the filter based off of a specific item name. So basically how this works is if someone enters if someone places an order, then we're going to set up a trigger filter to only trigger this flow if they've placed an order for a specific product. And we're going to define that specific product by including the item names right here. As you can see, we have the item names contains this specific product right here. So we want to create a cross-sell flow based off of if someone purchases this specific product. So the item name must contain whatever the product name is that someone placed an order for. So as you can see right here, people will enter this flow when they've placed an order, and the trigger filter is when the item name contains that specific product. So yeah, now I'm going to be going into exactly how to set up the flow filters and how to create the rest of the flow from here. So the flow filters are a little bit different than the trigger filter. The flow filter is more set on like the overall flow level. So basically we're able to kind of distinguish between the people that are actually going to be receiving these flows and who should be receiving these flows versus the people that shouldn't be receiving emails in these flows. So just as an example of a flow filter would be someone that, you know, if we want to send this flow out to people, but we want to stop sending the emails once someone actually places an order, then the flow filter would be place an order 0 times since entering this flow, meaning that as long as someone does not place an order, they're going to continue to receive emails within this flow. So think about it like that. So the flow filter is more sort of set on the flow level of who should be receiving emails in the flow. And then the trigger filter is on that specific metric that we define the trigger to be set on. So for example, place order, what criteria of placed order are we looking at? So do we want to trigger it on product A? Do we want to trigger it on product B if someone places an order? Do we want to trigger it on product C? Or do we want to trigger it on a specific collection? So that's more kind of based on the actual trigger itself. And then like I said again, the flow filter is more based off of who should actually be receiving these emails once someone enters that trigger filter and once someone is entered into the flow. So yeah, that's a great way to think about it. So basically what we did here is we set up one trigger filter. So the trigger filter is basically going to be set on when someone purchases product A, which I'll call this product right here. And then the flow filters would be place an order 0 times since starting this flow where item names contains product B, and place order 0 times since starting this flow where item names contains product C. So what this basically means is that this flow is going to get triggered when someone places an order where the actual item name equals product A, and then they'll be entered into this flow. That means they're eligible to be receiving emails within this flow. And then the flow filters will just tell Klaviyo that, hey, if someone does not place any order where the item names contains product B and the item names don't contain product C either, then let's just continue to send them emails until they purchase from us. And if they do purchase one of these items, then at that point they're going to be, they're not going to be receiving any of these emails any longer. It just kind of is more congruent with the customer experience, because if we're pushing them to buy a second, third product from us, we don't want to continue kind of bombarding them with emails, getting them to purchase if they've already purchased from us again. So that's kind of the reason behind these flow filters. So just to summarize that once again, someone will enter this flow when they've placed an order for the specific trigger filter of a specific product. Once they enter the flow, they'll continue to receive emails until they've purchased either the product B or product C. So what we did is, someone entered this flow, and so then we're going to place a time delay of 14 days. So typically on a normal cross-sell flow, I would recommend 2 to 3 weeks before sending out this cross-sell flow. So that way people can have a chance to use the product that they bought in the first place. So they have a chance to use product A and just kind of get a feel for the shipping and the whole delivery of the item, and just have a chance to use the product overall. And then a couple weeks later, that's when we'll kind of set them up with a cross-sell flow. And with this cross-sell flow, we're going to do email number 1. So we want to have like 3 emails or so within the cross-sell flow. So we'll do the first email that's sent 2 weeks after 2 weeks after someone places an order. And then we're going to wait 3 days and follow up with them again. So the second email is more of just kind of a follow-up email reminding them of the cross-sell offer, Which, by the way, it's also a good idea to maybe have some sort of incentive, maybe a 10 or 15% off discount code to incentivize them to place that second or third order for that complimentary product. It kind of just helps them to kind of push them over the edge to make that purchase with you guys. So 3 days later, we're going to send email number 2. And then 4 days later, we're going to send email number 3. So basically, we have a series of 3 emails that's going to be sent within a span of 14 days. We send 1 email, and then within a span of a week, we're going to be sending 2 more emails. And typically, this should result in a purchase if the complimentary product is actually a complimentary product and people actually want to try it and they had a good experience with the first product. Then this flow will work really, really well. Now, one thing I wanted to mention as well, and this is a separate type of flow, but another flow that you can also build out in the future is an immediate post-purchase cross-sell flow. Essentially what that is it's a very similar concept to this flow, but instead of waiting 14 days, we'll wait 15 minutes after someone places an order. And kind of the idea behind that is striking the iron while it's still hot. So, typically when someone just placed an order, usually, they have their credit card out still and they're in that kind of that buying mode. So we want to kind of take advantage of that and capitalize on the fact that they've just placed an order and they're more likely to place a second order. But that's a whole different flow. I'll definitely create another video on how to set that up exactly. But I would say that this is a great place to start. This is a normal cross-sell flow. And I would highly, highly recommend adding this to your brand and your Klaviyo automations if you don't already. But yeah, this is a very, very highly impactful flow here. Again, I hope this video was helpful. Again, we covered how to set up a cross-sell flow. Again, this is very, very common for brands that have multiple SKUs of products, potentially even complementary to each other, and it just kind of helps to increase the lifetime value of your customers and kind of introduces them and makes them aware of other products that you might offer, because maybe the customer's only aware of product A, but they don't also understand or realize that product B and product C could also work or pair really, really well with product A. For example, like a supplement. If you have a supplement brand, maybe you want to pair magnesium with vitamin D, or maybe you want to pair like if you have an apparel brand, maybe a specific sort of pants goes well with a specific type of shirt. Maybe it pairs really well, and maybe you already have history on that. Maybe you've seen customers that purchase product A, they tend to purchase product B. So you can kind of create your own cross-sell based off of that if you notice patterns in terms of customers buying multiple products at once and kind of seeing what the patterns are there. So again, I hope this video was really, really helpful. If you have any questions at all, please feel free as always to write a question in the comment section below, and I'm very, very happy to answer it. By the way, if you guys want to work together with us, you can feel free to book in a call with me directly. I'm the founder of LTV Labs, and we help e-commerce brands add an additional 5, 6, even up to 7 figures a month through email marketing, specifically on Klaviyo. So I would love to kind of learn a little bit more about your brand if you guys are looking to hire someone to do your email marketing. Happy to have a chat with you, but for now, I'll talk to you in the next video.